What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and the final chapter in the Roadblasters saga. This has been a series of videos that's been going a lot longer than I thought they originally would. So this project was something that I picked up 2 years ago and thought I finished it up fairly quickly. The last video, I left you with the inspiring, hopeful image of the cabinet all finished and just one more mod that I was going to do. But other than that, the cabinet was good to go. That wasn't entirely accurate. See, the problem that I was having kind of revealed itself over time. So the first issue with the cabinet was the audio. There was really no audio sound. It was sporadic. It would come and go. But I thought that this eventually would just sort of get fixed with a part that I had ordered for the next video. It was a new audio board. And inside the Roadblasters cabinet, the audio board is separate from the main board. Some of the power comes from the audio board. So I thought that that was really just going to fix the problem. I've got a new one ordered from eBay, and everything's going to be fine. Well, the new part came in, and the new part was installed, and the new part didn't fix the problem. Now, beyond the sound issue, I noticed that there was actually some problem with the game running for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it would just like shoot to warp speed. Now, in the game, there is one of the secret weapons that you're dropped from the helicopter or jet or whatever that's like a turbo boost. It speeds up the car and allows you to go like at maximum speed for a very short period of time. This was happening. this would happen through levels. Like every single, like once the glitch happened, it consistently happened. So you'd finish that level, obviously, because you're traveling at 400 miles an hour, and then you'd make it, and then the next level you'd start with the same speed. It was all messed up. So the journey began to try to find someone that could fix the board for me, because the board visually looks great, right? The whole board set looks great. So I reached out to some people that I knew. One in particular was the company that I bought the Star Wars battle pod from. They recommended somebody who took the job. Said, yeah, I can do that, no problem. Sent the board to the person. The person hooked up the boards to their test rig. Didn't really see an issue or a problem other than a few chips that they did replace on the audio board side, of the main board, which was kind of odd. But okay, I didn't ask a ton of questions. I just, paid the man. He fixed it, and the board was sent back to me. And didn't work. I had the same exact problem. Same exact issue. Nothing was repaired. Told the guy about this. He graciously took the boards back and then sent me a video showing the system running just fine. The boards were running fine in his system. So I was kind of stuck. So I took the boards back, reinstalled them in the cabinet, and this fully restored Roadblasters cabinet sat there dormant. Not doing anything, not working, getting no play because the game was messed up. Meanwhile, I was adding to the arcade, making a bunch of changes, arcade one-ups leaving, real arcades coming in, other kind of projects and stuff, all this stuff going on. And in the meantime, the Roadblasters was sitting in the back corner. Didn't know what to do. So I thought I would buy another board set. Well, you can't just buy another set of Roadblasters, original Roadblasters arcade boards. I mean, I'm sure you can. I'm sure they're out there, but I could never find any. And when I did find one, not the main board, but the game board, it wasn't verified as tested and functioning. Also, I didn't know if it was the main board or the game board that was broken on my game. Didn't know what to do. So the idea came to me. Reach out to my friend Justin Console Kits and see if he'd be willing to, maybe let me buy his Roadblasters cabinet. So to give you some background on Justin, the owner of Console Kits YouTube channel, formerly of the Console Kits YouTube channel, had an original Roadblasters, the sit-down version of Roadblasters. Very, very cool cabinet. But in an exchange that only can be described as insane, he decided to swap the Roadblasters cabinets with Retro Ralph, who had a stand-up version, which is exactly the kind that I had. Fortune smiled on me because he did agree to sell me that cabinet that originally came from Retro Ralph and now he owned. Time goes by. He lives in Iowa. I'm in Kentucky near Cincinnati. Can't get up there to see the guy. Once again, everything kind of gets in the way and things happen and things are purchased and bought and all this stuff. It's a long-winded way of saying I just never got around to getting up to Iowa to get this thing from him. Of course, the idea would be take his cabinet and take all the good parts, right? of both cabinets and put them together to make one awesome cabinet. Finally, we had an idea. I had a great idea. The idea was maybe, just maybe, Justin, if you're interested in something in my area, an arcade machine, a pinball machine, as it turned out, then this is what we'll do. I'll get the pinball machine, deliver it to you, and then I'll take the Roadblasters back as payment. Great. So the initial plan was set into place. We go to CES 2025 in January. The idea was to fly back home with me, and then we were going to drive to Nashville to pick up a couple pinball machines that he had found at a really good price. Then the snowstorm hits the area, and we can't do it. It's too treacherous, it's too dangerous. We didn't do it. So we put it off. We put it off for, I don't know, a month, maybe about 3 weeks. And finally, the time was right. So I load up the U-Haul, drive down to Nashville, pick up Justin at the airport in Nashville. The very next day, we go pick up these two pinball machines, and we take off on an adventure. And we spent 13, 14 hours in the truck together that day. We did it all in one day. Picked up the pinball machines and drove all the way to Iowa, where he lives. And that was a great day. It's a fun day. And then the very next day, that night, I unloaded his pinball machines and then loaded up the game, the Roadblasters cabinet. And then the very next day is when I woke up at the hotel and continued on home. Then the process began. Had my great weekend with my buddy. We both got to do like this cool road trip and had all this fun and get all this stuff. And now the real work had to begin. What do I have to steal from his cabinet to put into my cabinet to make it work? The plan is simple. Just swap components. Let's just start with the arcade board. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. What if there's something wrong with my cabinet? I don't want to put a known good working board set in my cabinet if there's something wrong with my cabinet. So I decided to take my boards out of my cabinet and put it into his cabinet, which I did. And the sound issue was repaired. I could hear the game. But the warp speed issue, the high speed issue, that was still there, still a problem. So the plan was set. We're going to take the boards, swap them over into my cabinet, which I did. And the sound issue was there. So it was something in the soundboard. I don't know. The problem is, though, this is a radically different style of power supply and soundboard. So that meant that I'm going to have to swap everything. So I proceeded to swap components, realizing that wiring harnesses were different. All the harnesses were different. All the connectors, everything was different. So basically what I had to do was completely gut my cabinet because his monitor was also in better shape. Completely gut my cabinet with the exception of the speakers and the marquee. Everything else was removed. Every wiring harness, every fastener, everything was removed from my cabinet and then put into his cabinet. And then I took the good stuff out of his and put it into mine. And after all of that hard work, it was down to the final time to flip the switch and see if this thing works. And it does. It does. Roadblasters is now brought back to life with an incredible story, 2 years in the making, of when I found this thing for $500 and covered in dirt and dust. What I thought was all original was obviously not, if that was some issue with the board and everything. But the story was complete. Everything was now fully functional, working in my arcade. And it's one of the greatest arcade games that I have memories of. I mean, you're going to rank this. There's different rankings of arcade games of all time. This is just one of those games that I just have a fondness of. And a lot of people say it's a great game. And I agree with those people. Those are the smart people. Not just me, but the smart people. So it's in my arcade. And it's really mostly stock. I mean, I really have it. There's just a few things that obviously the artwork is reproduction. I did go with the Atari side art. I did add a couple, plastic caps on the pipe that's kind of, bent on the bottom there. The blue kind of complements the rest of the cabinet. And there is a issue with the right trigger. It sticks every once in a while, but it's weird because those micro switches are new, so I've got to work on that. But beyond that, it just looks great. And one of the things that I really thought that I would change, that I always change on all my arcade cabinets, I didn't change on this one. And it is the marquee, the fluorescent bulb behind the marquee. And I just kept the original because I love the way it kind of sparks a little bit and then comes alive, when you first fire up the machine. And since this is the oldest arcade game in my collection, I thought it was kind of fitting. I thought it was kind of appropriate to still have that. So that's it. It's finally done. I'm really happy. I'm glad that, Justin was able to get some pinball machines, and he was able to give me his cabinet. And now the old cabinet with all the parts, the original Retro Ralph cabinet, is going to another community member in Florida just as soon as I can get some time to drop it off at the Fastenal to send to his location so that the story of that cabinet can continue. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by and checking out the channel. You have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time. Roadblasters, yeah.